Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we break down the confusing world of corporate finance and what it means for you, maybe even before the ink is dry. Today we're diving into VIP Play Inc.'s latest report, which is essentially a heads up about some changes happening behind the scenes. Think of it as a quick update on important events that shake things up. The earliest event they're reporting on happened on September 8th of 2025, so this is a look at events that just occurred not long ago. VIP Play Inc. is a company based in Nevada to Scroll, emerging growth company to Sir, relatively new and not quite as big or established as some of the giants out there. They get to follow some slightly different rules and don't have to share as much information as others. It's like being a startup with a bit of a leg up. The main point of this filing is mostly about agreements that have been made. Think of these as formal contracts that are pretty important. This section tells us about new financial commitments the company is making, or perhaps deals that aren't directly shown on their main financial statements but still have an impact. Let's rewind a bit to understand how we got here. Back in August and September of 2023, VIP Play Inc. took out some loans. Specifically, they got $200,000 from Rick Hackle, $500,000 from Rick Hackle, $500,000 from Rick Hackle, $500,000 from Dennis Coletti, and $15 from the Access Fund ALP. These aren't just simple loans though, they're convertible promissory notes. That means these loans could eventually be turned into shares of the company's stock. Now, these original loans were set to be paid back in full a year later. They also came with a 12% annual interest rate, which is pretty high. But as is often the case, a year later in September 2024, they needed more time. So they got an extension on all these loans, pushing the repayment date back another year. And here we are back in September of 25, and they're doing it again. They've entered into a second amendment, which sounds like it's giving them even more time to pay back these loans and also changing the rules about how those loans can be converted into stock. So what are the specifics of this new extension? For the Hackle and Access notes, the new due date is pushed to August 31, 2026. However, the Coletti note gets a shorter extension with a new due date of October 1, 2025. This means that one of these loans is due very soon. They've also changed the conversion prices fixed at 60 cents. Taftabunamaz Yuans is due very soon. They've also changed the conversion prices fixed at 60 cents. And Didon of these loans is due very soon. They've also changed the conversion price is fixed at 60 cents. Here's an interesting twist. The agreements with Coletti and Access also included a consent for Rick Hackle to loan another $100,000 to the company on September 9, 2025. This new loan also has an August 31, 2026 maturity date. So Hackle is doubling down and the company is essentially taking on more debt with slightly different repayment terms for different lenders. When all two end, you can find the exact details of these notes in Exhibit 411 of the filing if you're really interested in the nitty-gritty. Outside of these changes, all the original terms of the agreements are still in play. They're also pointing out that the full legal details are in Exhibits 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3, which are part of the full filing. So we have the original note format, which was filed back in August 2023. Then we have the amendment for Access Fund, then the amendment for Dennis Coletti, and finally the amendment for Rick Hackle, scrolled September 12, 2025, all by Tis, LS, Ottolenghi, Oles, Ottolenghi, CU scroll. The report is signed by Les Ottolenghi, the CEO, on September 12, 2025. Now let's talk about what this all means. VIP Play Inc. has taken on significant debt, and it seems they're struggling to pay it back on time. They've had to renegotiate the terms of these convertible notes multiple times, pushing back deadlines and adjusting the conditions. This continuous need for extensions and modifications can be a red flag. It suggests the company might not be generating enough cash flow to meet its obligations, or that its business prospects aren't as strong as Dane as initially hoped. The fact that the conversion price is tied to the company's stock performance and can be as low as 60 cents or 80% of the lowest sale price in the past year is also something to watch. If the stock price stays low or goes lower, these convertible notes are more likely to be converted into shares. This can lead to dilution, meaning existing shareholders will own a smaller piece of the company because more shares are issued. It's like cutting a pizza into more slices, and everyone's slice gets smaller. The additional $100,000 loan from Rick Hackle, especially with some loans now due very soon, indicates that the company is still reliant on its early investors for funding. This isn't necessarily bad, but it highlights their continued need for capital and their relationships with these specific lenders. Overall, VIP Play Inc. appears to be in a bit of a bind financially. They're buying time on their debt, which is a common strategy, but it doesn't solve the underlying issue of needing to improve their financial performance. The company's direction seems to be focused on survival and finding a way to manage its debt while perhaps trying to grow its business. The key risk here is their ability to meet these revised deadlines, especially the upcoming one for the Coletti note and the subsequent ones. The company's direction seems to be focused on survival and finding a way to manage its debt while perhaps trying to grow its business. The key risk here is their ability to meet these revised deadlines, especially the upcoming one for the Coletti note and the subsequent ones for Hackle and Access. If they can't, it could lead to more serious financial trouble. What's your take on VIP Play Inc.'s situation? Are these extensions a sign of resilience or a symptom of deeper problems? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, give us a like and subscribe for more in-depth looks at corporate filings. Also, make sure to join our Discord community linked in the description for more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.